15 years ago, I was broke, my friends. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know that. And the reason I'm saying this is because I want to give you guys some hope for you guys who are feeling like you're down and out. Dude, we were broke, man. We were looking at AFDC. You know what I'm saying? That's aid to families with dependent children and stuff. And it was bad, man. It was 2008, and I mean, it was bad. I was looking everywhere for jobs, dude. I was looking at Spokane, Washington, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'll never forget an interview with some chick, and she's like, what did she say? If you were an elephant stuck in a desert or something like that, or I can't remember what she said. I was like, what? I hung up on her. I said, this is so dumb. I don't think I hung up on her. I remember just like, what? I was like, I can't. I'll never forget this, man. I had a CFP, I had 10 years experience in the business, and there was no jobs unless you want to go into production. I was already in production, and my business was falling off a cliff because the markets were getting destroyed. We're down. Remember, the S&P 500 was down 57%. And so, if you're in a fee-based advisor, that's 57% right off the top that you're no longer getting paid on. On top of the fact, how many people are saying, I don't want to be in stocks anymore because the stocks are getting so crushed. They just want to go CDs. You know what I'm saying? On top of how many people had to pay off debt because it's being called in, like my own branch office manager. He had borrowed against his company's stock to buy some real estate, speculative real estate. And he got a margin call. So his stock was down, the company stock was down, plus the speculative real estate was down. And he was worried. Now, he had a hell of a lot more money than I did, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, it was just that bad. I mean, I just remember going home for like weeks on end, just like, dude, they're going to fire me. And the reason was because I wasn't bringing enough revenue in. They were starting to say, we got to get rid of our low-hanging people. And I started the year, I started in 2000. I started in mid-2007. With about 25 million of assets under management. I'd only been in production for like 2.5 years. That was actually pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Speed trap. Oh boy, we got speed trap 4 minutes ago. I don't know. I didn't see any speed trap. But that wasn't bad. And if you factor in 1% on 225 million, that's $250,000 of a gross dealer concession, which is how much I'm bringing into the firm, of which I got to keep 35% of that. But I was also on salary, and at the end of the 5th year, or 4th year, maybe it was the end of the 4th year. No, 3rd year. At the end of the 3rd year, they dropped your salary down to like $1,000 a month or something like that. And that's where I was. I was at the end of the 3rd year. My salary was like $1,000 a month, and that just basically, I had 2 brand spanking new children. You know what I'm saying? 2 boys, bouncing baby boys in diapers. The Irish twins. One was born January 4th in 2007. One was born December 31st, 2007. So I'm going to 2008 with 4 young kids, 2 babies, one who is 4 and one who is 7. Mortgage, car loans. I mean, it was, we were living in Dayton, Virginia. Our house was worth $100,000 or something like that. It wasn't like we were living. We didn't have a garage. We even have a paved driveway. We had 1 car. What did we have at that? We had like I want to say a 97. Dodge Caravan or something like that. And I like that car, actually. I very much, that car is pretty good. A minivan. And I drove, I want to say a 92 Toyota, I think. Toyota Tercel, something like that. I can't remember. But, I mean, it was nerve-wracking, man. Nerve-wracking. So if you are there, now, I've said this a million times, I'll say it again. I will never, ever forget. I have these people, I was working at a bank. When I first moved back to Virginia from Arizona, I was working as a platform rep in a bank. I could sell annuities and mutual funds, and then all the other bank stuff. And these guys came down to pay off their mortgage, if memory serves. I want to say their name was Armentrout, or I can't remember. It was a German name. I just remember tons of Armentrouts back in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Just because of Mennonites and whatnot. I don't think it was Armentrout, but to give you an example, it's just a German Mennonite name, if that makes sense. Nicest people ever. They're probably 15 years older than me. They had $300,000 with us, and they're getting ready to pay off their mortgage. Probably 57 or something like that. And I was like, I guess I was 30. I was like 32, 33, so maybe 20 years older than me. Something like that. Maybe they're 53. I can't remember. But anyway, I remember thinking, I told them, it must be nice to not only pay off your mortgage, but have all this money, sitting here. And he goes, trust me, you'll be there. I'll never forget those guys said that. I'm sure that the last name wasn't Armentrout. I'm just using that for example. I hope they're still alive. I hope they see this. I'm sure they won't, but just to remember how much that stuck with me. So you'll get there. Just hang in there. We went through what you're doing too. When you're raising kids, you're just starting out your career. It's tough, man. And you just gotta hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. You know, and thankfully Charlotte hung in there with me. We had a couple of times we got it's never like we thought, I'm leaving, nothing like that. The only time I thought we were even, it wasn't even, is our neighbor died, and Miss Ruth, and Charlotte was broken up about it, and rightly so. It hadn't hit me yet. For me, it takes a while to hit me, and then when it finally hit me, like a couple of weeks later, Charlotte had already kind of moved on, if that makes sense. And in that stage, I was like, we're in a different emotional cycle, and she was, I just never forget, she was talking to her mom and her sister, and it just hit me about Miss Ruth dying, and I was sad. I just kind of wanted Charlotte to be sad with me, but she had already been sad. You see what I'm saying? And again, we weren't like, what's like an emotional thing? It was just like, I felt like I was on my own there because she had already gone through it and I hadn't yet. And I was like, you're not, and I mean, I wasn't depressed. I just remember feeling like, man, it would be nice if she was there for me the way I was there for her. And in her way, she was. Because in her way, she's like, you weren't as emotional as distraught as what I was at the same time. And we had reacted different. That was it. That was like the only, and we weren't on divorce, nothing even close. I just remember that it was like about a week time there, I felt like, man, I don't like this, you know what I'm saying? We are on two completely different emotional paths, and then it just blew over. No big deal. But her mom had just moved down to Virginia, or down to our neck of the woods. Her sisters were down there, and so she had other things going on. At the same time, I was like in this emotional kind of rut. It made me jealous, not gonna lie. It made me jealous. I was like, oh man. And so now your sister and your mom's down here, and your sisters, and you have people you can talk to, and the only person I can really talk to is you, and you're not really talking to me because you moved on. And again, that was it. I'm making it a mountain out of a molehill here. It wasn't nearly that bad, but for about a week there, I just remember thinking I felt alone, frankly, and I felt jealous because she had people to talk to, and I can't. Even my mom lived right down the street. I couldn't talk to my mom. But anyway, so that's it, man. I mean, we haven't had. I mean, have we been mad at each other as she played silent? Yeah, for a couple times. So a couple times she get pissed off, and I don't really get pissed off. But a couple times she's like, why? She'll be quiet for me for about a day and stuff. But as we got older, that's just water on the bridge, man. We don't fight, and we don't drink, so we don't fight. I mean, she'll throw me some shade out on occasion. Most of us righteous too, not all the time. But I'll never forget the Armentrout. Just tell me, just stick with it, man. You'll be all right. And we're not, we still got a mortgage. I'm 53. My wife is 49. She just turned 50. So we still got a mortgage. We aren't sitting on $1 million on our 401ks and whatnot. And I'm self-employed, so my business could stop at any time. Literally, it's always scary when you're self-employed. But 15 years ago, if you would have told me where I'd be now with the amount of equity I have in my home and how much I have in my retirement accounts and all that, I would have thought you would be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I would have said, no, that's crazy. No way. Because we were literally that broke. So you just got to hang in there, man. Hang in there. Don't be a freaking idiot. Don't start getting all these tattoos to remind you of times gone past. Don't start drinking with the boys. Don't come home late at night and thinking your wife is holding you back. That if she only would have understood you, you could be a rock and roll star. Look, man, I follow music. I know tons of guys in bands. The vast majority don't make money at all. At all. They might play a couple of shows on occasion, but they're not like professional careers in musicians. It's just not. So don't be one of these guys like, man, I could have been something if only. That's just stupid. That's stupid. Stay true to your wife. Stay true to your kids. Hang in there. Just plug away, plug away, plug away. You're going to come out most likely fine. I can't guarantee you that. I don't know. Most likely you will. Just plug, man. That's all you can do. What else are you going to do anyway, man? You're going to freaking leave your kids for some other man to raise? I mean, talk about being a freaking wimp, man. I'm going to leave. I'm going to let some other guy raise my kids. Nah, screw that, dude. Be a real man and stay true to your family. I love your thoughts. God bless.